Life is a constant process of dying. Life is a pendulum between suffering and boredom. Life is a business that does not cover the costs. Life is a disease, and the only difference between one disease and another is simply what kind of cells it affects. Life is a dream for the wise, a game for the fool, a comedy for the rich, and a tragedy for the poor. Life is a journey, and if you fall in love with the journey, you will be in love forever. Life is a prison, death is a release. Life is a journey, not a destination. Life is a tragedy for those who feel, and a comedy for those who think. Life is a sea of troubles. Life is an obstacle course, and sometimes we fall and sometimes we make it through, but we keep going. Life is an incurable disease. Life is an endless struggle, full of frustrations and challenges, but eventually you find a hairstylist you like. Life is an unprofitable episode, disturbing the blessed calm of non-existence. Life is but a brief opportunity for us to be happy. Life is short, but its ills make it seem long. Life is the art of drawing without an eraser. Life is the constant process of discovering oneself. Life is the greatest of all mysteries. Life is the prison of the soul. Life is the realization of the impossible. Life is the ultimate game of chance. Life is too important to be taken seriously. Life is too short to waste time on things that don't matter. Life is too short to be unhappy. Life is too short to be small. Life is too short to live with regrets. Life is too short to not be happy. Life is too short to not be yourself. Life is too short to wait for the perfect moment. Life is what happens while you are busy making other plans. Life is what you make it. Life is without meaning. You bring the meaning to it. The meaning of life is whatever you ascribe it to be. Life's greatest happiness is to be convinced we are loved. Life's greatest tragedy is not death, but what we let die inside us while we live. Life's journey is not to arrive at the grave safely in a well-preserved body, but rather to skid in sideways, totally worn out, shouting, "Holy shit, what a ride!" Our life is like a journey that we must take, and we never know where it will take us. The art of living is more like wrestling than dancing. The good life is one inspired by love and guided by knowledge. Man is the only animal who causes pain to others with no other object than wanting to do so. The two enemies of human happiness are pain and boredom. Happiness is a state of mind, not a state of circumstances. Compassion is the basis of morality. Talent hits a target no one else can hit. Genius hits a target no one else can see. The greater the obstacle, the more glory in overcoming it. Every truth passes through 3 stages before it is recognized. In the first, it is ridiculed. In the second, it is opposed. In the third, it is regarded as self-evident. A man can be himself only so long as he is alone, and if he does not love solitude, he will not love freedom, for it is only when he is alone that he is really free. The more a man knows, the more he forgives. Change alone is eternal, perpetual, immortal. The happiness of one's own heart alone cannot satisfy the soul. One must try to include, as necessary to one's own happiness, the happiness of others. Man is the measure of all things. The two foes of human happiness are pain and boredom. The first 40 years of life give us the text, the next 30 supply the commentary on it. The wise man does not expose himself needlessly to danger, since there are few things for which he cares sufficiently, but he is willing, in great crises, to give even his life, knowing that under certain conditions it is not worth preserving. A sense of humor is the only divine quality of man. It is difficult to find happiness within oneself, but it is impossible to find it anywhere else. All truth passes through 3 stages. First, it is ridiculed. Second, it is violently opposed. Third, it is accepted as being self-evident. A man's delight in looking forward to and hoping for some particular satisfaction is a part of the pleasure flowing out of it, enjoyed in advance. But this is afterward deducted, for the more we look forward to anything, the less we enjoy it when it comes. To be different is not necessarily to be ugly. To have a different idea is not necessarily to be wrong. The happiness which is lacking makes one think even the happiness one has unbearable. The greatest of follies is to sacrifice health for any other kind of happiness. The closing years of life are like the end of a masquerade party, when the masks are dropped. Nature shows that with the growth of intelligence comes increased capacity for pain, and it is only with the highest degree of intelligence that suffering reaches its supreme point. One should use common words to say uncommon things. Treat a work of art like a prince. Let it speak to you first. The natural state of the sentient being is happiness. The more a man meditates upon good thoughts, the better will be his world and the world at large. Man is not the only animal who labors, but he is the only one who improves his workmanship. Great minds are related to the brief span of time during which they live as great buildings are to a little square in which they stand. You cannot see them in all their magnitude because you are standing too close to them. Every nation ridicules other nations, and all are right.